Hey everyone, JD Vance and Tim Walz just finished their debate, which means that GPT and I have some work to do. Now, some of you may say that the vice presidential debate was not all that important, and yeah, I get it, they're not always in the spotlight, but they're actually next in line after the president, and one of these guys is going to have a huge influence on policy and our lives as well. So, isn't that enough reason to take a closer look at them? Especially since they talk about Kamala and Trump most of the time anyway. But then who was more convincing? All the biased media are already declaring their candidate the winner, mocking and fact-checking each other, but let's just be honest, you clicked on this video for one reason alone. Today, I'm going to feed the full debate transcript to ChatGPT and ask it to analyze both the candidates, their policies, how they handle pressure, fact-check their claims on its own, and finally decide who was more convincing, JD Vance or Tim Walz. But before we get into that, if you enjoy this kind of content, the best way to hack the algorithm is to subscribe right now while you're watching. It really makes a big difference in reaching more people with this video and lets me create more content like this. Thanks in advance, and now let's get into it. Now, I'll quickly explain how this is going to work, but don't worry, it's going to be fast. I'm going to ask it to analyze each topic separately, fact-check both statements, and decide who was more convincing on each topic. And in the end, it will determine the overall winner of the debate. And as always, the most important rule is to stay unbiased because we need a completely fair decision. So I fed it the full transcript of the debate and asked it to analyze everything in detail to make sure that nothing's missed. So we'll go in order and start with the Middle East topic. And here's the answer. I received the transcript and will now go through it in detail. I'll identify and analyze it. What? Please give me a moment to work through the content. I'll let you know when I'm finished. Can ChatGPT send messages first? Well, I guess I should actually wait. Are you done? Yes, I've completed the initial extraction and analysis of the transcript. Here's the quick analysis of the first topic. Analysis: Middle East. Vance argued that Trump's policies brought stability to the Middle East, pointing to actions like the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani as examples of peace through strength. While his claim that Trump delivered complete stability is misleading, since tensions with Iran escalated after Soleimani's death, Vance presented his points confidently, framing them around national security and deterrence. This narrative appeals to those who view a strong military presence as essential for peace. Walz, on the other hand, supported Israel's right to defend itself and emphasized the need to end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. He criticized Trump for his foreign policy approach but didn't provide detailed policy alternatives. While his call for diplomacy aligns with mainstream foreign policy perspectives, his argument was less specific about how to manage the complexities in the region. In this discussion, Vance came off as more convincing. Despite some factual oversimplifications, his focus on strength and decisive action resonated with those who see military power as key to Middle Eastern stability, whereas Walz's response lacked specificity and direction. Well, alright, JD Vance's arguments seem more convincing to the AI. But now let's move on to the next topic, which is climate change, and here it is. Analysis: Climate change. Vance acknowledged concerns over extreme weather like Hurricane Helene, but questioned whether carbon emissions are the primary driver of climate change. This stance is misleading, as it contradicts the overwhelming scientific consensus that carbon emissions significantly contribute to global warming. He argued for increased U.S. energy production, implying that the focus should be on energy independence rather than tackling climate change directly. Walz emphasized the reality of climate change, pointing to recent extreme weather events as evidence. He praised the Inflation Reduction Act as a historic investment in clean energy, which is mostly true, as it represents a significant step in U.S. climate policy. However, his statement about creating 200,000 new jobs can vary based on projections and timeframes, though the act does have the potential to create substantial employment in renewable energy sectors. In conclusion, Walz was more convincing by aligning with established science and acknowledging climate change's impact, while Vance's skepticism undermined his argument. Got it! Now things are getting interesting. This time, Tim Walz got the point from the AI, but it's only the beginning. So now let's move on to the next topic and ask about immigration. And here's what it said. Analysis: Immigration. Vance criticized open borders policies, claiming the Department of Homeland Security lost 320,000 children, and referenced children being used as drug mules. This is misleading. The figure refers to children missing court hearings or not receiving notices, not being lost or used as drug mules. He also blamed Harris for mass separations, which is false, as these primarily occurred under Trump's policy. While he argued that Trump's stricter policies were more effective, this overlooks the controversies like family separations and asylum restrictions. Walz condemned Trump's family separation policy and pushed for bipartisan reform, aiming to balance border security with pathways to citizenship. His criticism of family separations is accurate, and his claim of adding 1,500 border agents is mostly true, though he didn't outline specific reforms. In the end, Walz was more convincing, offering a more factually grounded argument despite being light on details. Alright, okay, good. I like how it fact-checks both of them and gives us the actual information right off the bat. But without waiting any longer, let's get on to the economy. Analysis: Economy. Vance argued that Trump's economic policies led to a strong economy before the pandemic, criticizing the current administration for inflation and rising costs. While it's partially true that the economy saw growth and low unemployment under Trump, his claim oversimplifies the causes of the current inflation, which involves global supply chain disruptions and market shifts. However, Vance effectively tapped into public concerns about inflation and economic uncertainty, suggesting that free market solutions and deregulation could help stabilize prices. This resonates with many who are wary of government intervention. Walz highlighted the Biden administration's opportunity economy, focusing on the expansion of the child tax credit and efforts to boost housing construction. While these claims are accurate, he avoided directly addressing concerns about inflation, missing an opportunity to connect with viewers who are struggling with rising costs. This time, Vance was more convincing, as he directly engaged with voter anxieties about the economy and offered clear, market-oriented solutions, while Walz's response, though factually sound, seemed less connected to immediate economic worries. Alright, economy done. Now let's see what it says about reproductive rights. Here's the answer. Analysis: Reproductive rights. The debate on reproductive rights became heated, with both candidates presenting contrasting views. Vance took a strong anti-abortion stance, arguing for a nationwide abortion ban. He criticized the current administration for promoting abortion on demand, but his claim that the Biden-Harris administration supports unrestricted access to abortion is misleading. While the administration advocates for protecting reproductive rights, it also supports some regulations, such as restrictions on late-term abortions, unless necessary for the mother's health. Walz defended the right to choose, emphasizing the importance of access to safe and legal abortions, especially in cases of incest or health complications. He highlighted that reproductive rights are a personal choice that should be protected from government interference, aligning with the administration's stance on broader public opinion, favoring access to abortion with certain regulations. Ultimately, Walz was more convincing, offering a more factually accurate and balanced perspective, while Vance's arguments relied on exaggerating the current administration's policies. Okay, good, I got it. Tim Walz was more convincing. And without any interruptions, let's go on to ask about gun violence. Analysis: Gun violence. The discussion on gun violence highlighted clear differences in their approaches. Vance argued that focusing on mental health is key to reducing gun violence, claiming that the rise in mass shootings is primarily due to a mental health crisis. He opposed stricter gun control measures, suggesting that they would infringe on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. While mental health is a contributing factor in some shootings, stating it as the primary cause is misleading. Studies show that access to firearms significantly contributes to gun violence in the U.S. Walz advocated for comprehensive gun control measures, including universal background checks and red flag laws. His points align with data showing that countries with stricter gun laws typically have lower rates of gun violence. In conclusion, Walz was more factually accurate in addressing the factors contributing to gun violence, while Vance's focus on mental health oversimplified the issue. Alright, well great. ChatGPT is doing a good job, but not to get it exhausted, let's have a quick break. And you know what? Right now is the perfect time to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It's the best way to support both me and my channel, so I can keep on publishing weekly content with ChatGPT. So, thank you so much, and now let's move on to the last two topics. Okay, let's see what it says about who was more convincing in healthcare. And here it is. Analysis: Healthcare. Vance criticized the Affordable Care Act, claiming it drove up costs and limited choices. While it's true that some experienced higher premiums, the claim that it solely drove up costs is misleading, as the ACA expanded coverage to millions and provided subsidies for lower-income families. He also called U.S. healthcare the most advanced and best in the world, which is partially true. The U.S. leads in medical technology but ranks lower in health outcomes like life expectancy and access to care. Walz defended the ACA, highlighting its success in expanding access and covering pre-existing conditions, which is accurate. He advocated for further reforms like lowering drug prices, though he didn't provide specific details. Ultimately, Walz was more convincing, as his arguments were grounded in facts, while Vance oversimplified the issues and overlooked ACA's benefits. Alright, Tim Walz was once again more convincing according to the AI. But now it's time for the very last topic, which is the state of democracy. And here is the answer. Analysis: State of democracy. Vance expressed concerns over the integrity of elections, implying widespread voter fraud in recent years. He supported stronger voter ID laws, arguing they are necessary to secure elections. However, his claim of widespread fraud is false. Extensive research and numerous court cases have found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in recent U.S. elections. Voter ID laws are a contentious issue, with evidence showing they can sometimes disproportionately affect minority and low-income voters. Walz countered by stating that U.S. elections are secure and that claims of widespread fraud undermine democracy. He pointed to the 2020 election as the most secure in history, a statement that is accurate according to election security experts. Walz also emphasized the need to protect voting rights, criticizing recent state laws that make it harder to vote. While he did not delve into specific policy proposals, his argument aligns with expert assessments of election security. In conclusion, Walz was more convincing, as his points were supported by established facts, while Vance relied on a debunked narrative of widespread voter fraud. Alright, well, congratulations! That was the last one. So ChatGPT, who do you think won the debate? It's a close call, but Tim Walz edges out as the winner due to his fact-based arguments on key social issues and healthcare. Well, there we are. It actually looks like a decent analysis, but what do you think about its decision? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now we're wrapping up, but if you want more videos about debates, just click on this one, where ChatGPT does the same analysis with the Trump-Harris debate, and trust me, it's worth your attention. Thanks for watching, click on that video, and I'll see you there in just a moment.